One of the common questions we get by potential investors is, why should we choose residential real estate as an asset class to invest our money? There's plenty of other options out there, including obviously shares and, even on the more extreme or speculative side, there's Bitcoin. And when people ask me this question, I generally tell them the story about why I personally chose residential real estate as an asset class to invest my money. And that story starts with my mum and dad. As I share my parents and my story, I want you to have a think about your own lives. And I bet you that you can find a very similar story, whether it be through a family member like me, or a friend or someone you know who's going to have a very similar story. But back in 1989, my parents purchased a 3-bedroom townhouse in Zetland, approximately 5 kilometres away from the Sydney CBD. And at the time they purchased it, it was very much a working class suburb, and there wasn't much going on in terms of amenities, infrastructure and transport. But as time went on and the suburb began to change, the property began to grow in value. And fast forward 20 or 30 years to today, the property is estimated to be valued at around $1.6 million. Now this means it's grown in value at approximately a rate of 8% per year every year since they purchased it in 1989. Now they shared this story with me as I was growing up, and as a young person, like probably most young people, this didn't really resonate with me. I was spending my time and my money going and traveling, but one day I essentially decided, hey, I need to listen to my parents and learn from their experience, and I started to dig deeper. Against 3.3% for houses. So I started to notice a trend. Houses tended to get higher capital growth, and apartments tended to get a higher yield, meaning that they'd be costing me less to hold. Was this going to be true across the country? Yield than the housing market. Brisbane, same story. A 7.5% growth in houses and only a 4.6% yield. Slightly lower again for Brisbane apartments, but again a higher yield at 5.2. So I started to understand that across most markets in Australia, across most asset classes being houses, apartments, townhouses and villas, on average over the last 20 years they've experienced a 7.29% capital growth rate, meaning that property tends to double every 10 years. So this is one reason why I chose property as an asset class in order to invest my money. The second reason I chose was the ability to use other people's money. You think about it, the banks are willing to lend you 80% of the property value in order to get you into the market, and in some cases even more than 80%. So essentially, the banks are taking on 80% of the risk of your investment, but you're getting 100% of the return on your investment. Now, banks, as we know, are very smart in the way that they invest and lend out their money. So the banks have extreme confidence in the Australian property market. So why would I choose another asset class when people that are smarter and know more than I do, i.e. the banks, about protecting their money, are willing to lend me 80% and take on 80% of the risk? That means that they think that property investment, and particularly Australian property investment, is a good asset class to invest your money. So I'm going to follow the banks. So if you're looking for more, visit us at builderpropertyportfolio.net for free tips and strategies that are going to further your education in the property investment space. To get access to our free property market updates that are prepared by our in-house research team. You can get a strategy guide on building a multi-property portfolio. However, all of this information is generic in nature and is not designed to cater towards your specific circumstances. For us to do that, we need to engage you in a free 2-hour property portfolio planning session, where we'll introduce our systems, strategies and services for building a property portfolio. We'll give you an overview of the Australian property market. We'll conduct a portfolio analysis of your current situation using our proprietary software. We'll establish a customised strategic plan to help you build a diversified property portfolio over time, and we'll answer any questions you might have on property investment. To book your session, visit us at buildapropertyportfolio.net.